Hello students. So finally, after so much of speculations of single shift, double shift, postponement, finally the NEET PG 2025 is over. I know it is a sigh of relief for most of you, but just for the recall, we'll try to solve all the questions asked in pathology. Right. I have been talking to the students as well as to the various subject experts. The paper this year has been rated easy to moderate. That means for some students, very good students, जिन्होंने सारे PYTs किए हुए थे, the paper would have been very easy. इस साल PYTs और PYQs भर के आए हैं, especially in pathology. I've been talking to other subject experts also. PYTs, primarily PYTs, have been asked in all the subjects. So, one more thing to notice is the paper, there were very few one-liners. They were there, but very few. Majority of them were all clinically oriented questions. So, if your concepts were clear, you had revised all your PYTs, सारी lectures अच्छे से सुने थे, you had revised all your standard textbooks, the paper would have been definitely easy for all of you. Okay, so pathology mein there were almost 22 questions. 22 questions in pathology, जिसमें से general में there were 6, hemat there were 5 and systemic there were around 11 questions. This year systemic had majority of the questions. Systemic में भी surprisingly CNS में से 2 question आए. Then there was a question from thyroid, there was a question from testes as well as the favorite ovary. Ovary में से हमेशा question आता है. So just let's try to dissect, discuss and solve all the questions, right? These are all recall questions. So I might be wrong in phrasing of some of the question, but more or less the gist of the question remains the same, right? Beginning with the first question. A 30-year-old man presents with painless testicular mass. Ultrasound showed well-circumscribed, homogeneous, non-hemorrhagic tumor. Histology picture was given. What is the likely diagnosis? So if you see this histology picture, what is the characteristic finding that you see? You see lymphocytic infiltration. Okay, lymphocytic infiltration means that it is a seminoma. Straightforward question. Histology mein lymphocytic infiltration, straightforward question, it is seminoma. Yolk sac tumor, what will you see in yolk sac tumor? Yolk sac tumor, you will see Schiller-Duval bodies, which is not there here. Choriocarcinoma, it will be hemorrhagic and necrotic. Moreover, the AFP would be raised. Okay. Teratoma mein what will you see? You will see all germ layer element, all 3 germ layer elements. You're not seeing anything like this. So, characteristic lymphocytic infiltration, your answer is straightforward seminoma, right? Simple. Next question. Which of the following lab techniques is most commonly used to compare and quantify CD markers in CLL? देखा जाए तो this is also a straightforward question. How will you compare and quantify CD marker in CLL? Very straightforward. It is flow cytometry. We have also studied earlier what is the CLL diagnostic criteria. That also flow cytometry is essential. 1 point there in the diagnostic criteria. Okay? The CLL diagnostic criteria, the absolute lymphocyte count, how much it should be? It should be more than 5,000 cells per microliter. Flow cytometry, your CD5 and CD23 would be positive. Which is a new marker for CLL? It is CD200. Bone marrow also, you will see more than 30% lymphocyte, the mature lymphocyte. But please note, bone marrow is optional for diagnostic criteria for CLL. If flow cytometry is positive, then it is a confirmatory diagnosis. So going back to the question again, your answer should be flow cytometry for CD markers in CLL, right? Coming to the next question, a patient with history of knee joint pain, swelling has synovial fluid showing positively birefringent rhomboid shaped crystals under the polarized light. Please note, birefringent rhomboid shaped crystals. So what is the likely diagnosis? Please don't get confused between gout and pseudo-gout. What should be the answer here? The answer should be pseudo-gout. Straightforward. Why not gout? सबसे पहले, see the history first. Always see the history. You will not see gout in knee joint. Even if you don't remember कि birefringent rhomboid crystal किस में होते हैं. See the history first. Knee joint में कभी भी gout नहीं होगा. Gout will be primarily in the foot, right? So, it is pseudo-gout. So, gout में crystals कैसे होते हैं? Crystals would be needle shaped, right? Rhomboid shaped birefringent in pseudo-gout and needle shaped in gout. Moreover, knee joint, large joints, you will always see pseudo-gout, not gout, right? Straightforward question. Next, a child presents with visual disturbances, delayed growth. Imaging reveals a suprasellar mass. Histopathology shows the presence of wet keratin compact eosinophilic anucleate keratin. What is the diagnosis? I have always told you, whenever you read a case study or whenever you read a long question, focus on the important words. उन्हीं words में से आपका answer निकलेगा. So what are the important words here? सबसे पहले visual disturbances, right? Suprasellar mass. Wet keratin compact eosinophilic anucleate keratin. So you know the diagnosis here, right? Suprasellar mass, wet keratin, it is craniopharyngioma, right? Craniopharyngioma. Medulloblastoma कहाँ होता है? Medulloblastoma is not suprasellar, it is infratentorial. Pituitary adenoma you will not see in children. Glioma also you will see in various locations, but ये histology you will not get in gliomas. So the answer is craniopharyngioma. Correct? Let's move on to the next question. Anti-SCL70 antibody is most strongly associated with which of the following manifestations? I have already told you earlier. SCL70. इसका क्या बनेगा? This is your scleroderma. L is your lung fibrosis, right? So what option is the best here? It's your idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a form of ILD. So most strongly associated anti-SCL70 antibodies is your idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. This was also a very straightforward question. Now, coming to the next question. A lymphoma shows both centrocyte and centroblast with BCL2 positivity and CD10 expression. What is the most likely translocation? We have done so many questions like this, right? They'll give you a case history or they'll give you CD markers और आपको translocation निकालना है. Translocation निकालने से पहले what do you have to find? You'll have to find the diagnosis. BCL2 positivity, CD10 expression. Centrocytes, centroblast, where will you find them? Very correct. This is found in follicular lymphoma. Up, the options are quite straightforward. Follicular lymphoma mein what translocation do you see? You see 14-18. Clear? Easy now? You have to see centrocyte, centroblast, BCL2 positivity, CD10 expression, make the diagnosis of follicular lymphoma, translocation अपने आप आ जाएगा. 14-18. T25 कहाँ मिलता है? It is your anaplastic large cell lymphoma, right? Anaplastic large cell lymphoma. Please note, ये anaplastic large cell lymphoma का translocation was asked in the recent FMG exam. Okay, there were few questions in this exam which were also asked in the recent FMG May wala exams, right? This was one of them. वहाँ पे anaplastic large cell lymphoma का translocation पूछा गया था और they had given anaplastic large cell lymphoma as the diagnosis और translocation पूछा था, right? So 14-18 is your follicular lymphoma, 2-5 is anaplastic large cell lymphoma. 11-14 क्या था? 11-14 was your mantle cell lymphoma, right? 8-21 was AML M2 type, right? Very quickly revising the translocations that we have studied in hematology, right? Translocation 14-18, I've already told you, is follicular lymphoma and the gene involved is IGH BCL2. That is what was asked here, BCL2. And it shows BCL2 positivity, CD10 positivity, you see centroblast and centrocyte. Hamara question, right? 11-14, the gene involved is CCND1 IGH and it is your mantle cell lymphoma. cyclin D1 positive, CD5 positive, CD23 negative, right? We have already studied this, remember. cyclin D1 कैसे याद किया था हमने? Mantle cell lymphoma, more common in boys. Boys go mental and go cycling, right? No offense to boys, but boys go mental and go cycling. तो cyclin D1 positive आता है, CD5 positive आता है, but 23 is negative in mantle, right? Now 814 is your Burkitt lymphoma. इसमें MYC gene rearrangement होता है. Remember, starry sky appearance in bone marrow, right? CD10, and it is a highly aggressive tumor. Ki67 is almost 100%. 25, I've already told you, it's ALK gene is involved. It is anaplastic large cell lymphoma. What is the hallmark cell that you see in anaplastic large cell lymphoma? Horseshoe shaped cells, like horseshoe shaped cell. These are the hallmark cells that you see in anaplastic large cell lymphoma. Then T821, you see RUNX1 and RUNX-T1 gene mutation seen in AML-M2, right? AML-M2, you will see myeloblast or rods, simple. Inversion 16, AML-M4, eosinophils seen, and very good prognosis. 1517, very important. 1517, you got a question here also, 1517 ka. PML RARA gene, right? AML M3, acute promyelocytic leukemia. You will see Faggot cell, you will see DIC here, and you will see ATRA responsivity, right? This is your APML. Coming to translocation 922, I need not tell you about 922. Sabko pata hai, it is Philadelphia chromosome seen in your CLL. Also in ALL, the Philadelphia positive ALL. Okay? We've studied about the new classification of ALL, WHO classification of ALL. Uske andar we do see Philadelphia. Please go back to my lectures. What is the difference between CML and the ALL positive Philadelphia chromosome का difference क्या होता है? The difference is in the tyrosine kinase activity. जो Dalton protein वो different आता है. ठीक है? Please go back to the lectures. So, इसमें tyrosine kinase activity होती है increased and it is imatinib positive, right? Now, we've also studied how to remember all these translocations in B-cell NHLs, right? Diffuse large cell B-cell lymphoma. I've already told you उसमें कोई translocation नहीं होता तो उसका translocation नहीं पढ़ेंगे हम. उसमें क्या होता है? MYC gene rearrangement. For the other B-cell NHLs, what is the mnemonic that we've studied? It is BMF. What is BMF? Bone marrow failure. Bone से क्या आता है? It is your Burkitt, right? M से mantle, F से follicular. Okay. और कौन सा बच गया? Marginal. Marginal, we will keep it at the margin, right? Always remember, which is the common number in all of them? It is 14, right? Bone marrow ka Burkitt. Burkitt. Now, Burkitt ka B looks like 8. So, your translocation would be 8, 14. Okay? Simple to remember. B looks like 8. Translocation 8, 14. Mantle ka this TL looks like 11. So, translocation 11, 14. Follicular. How does follicular sound? Fol is 4. You add 4 to the common number. क्या आ जाएगा? 14 plus 4? 18. So, it is your translocation 14, 18. Okay? Mantle में one more thing to remember, it is cyclin D1 positive. I already told you, mantle more common in boys. Boys go mental and go for cycling. ठीक है? So, bone marrow Burkitt is 814. Mantle, it is 1114. Follicular, it is 1418. Now, we are left with marginal. Okay, marginal. Marginal ka just remember, you have to take the two right margins. What are the two right margins? 11 and 18. Right? Sitting on the right are mantle and follicular, or inke margins are 11 and 18. So, the translocation would be 11, 18. Okay, easy to remember all the translocations. Right. Let's move on to the next question. A 55-year-old patient presents with painless lymphadenopathy. Lymph node biopsy shows malignant lymphoma, translocation 14-18, BCL2 overexpression, Lymph nodes shows nodular pattern with germinal center-like structure. What is the most likely diagnosis? I'm not sure what was the words, what was the language of the previous questions, but ये दोनों questions similar हैं. ठीक है, either they had asked you translocation or they had given you the translocation and they've asked you the diagnosis. So very simple, we've studied everything. It is 1418 BCL2 positivity. So what is it? It's your follicular lymphoma. Simple. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, a patient presented with frothy sputum, hemoptysis, dyspnea, paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. Biopsy shows hemosiderin-laden macrophages. In which condition this is not expected? Okay, not expected. What is hemosiderin-laden macrophages called? These are yours, nothing but heart failure cells. Heart failure cells, where do you find them? In the conditions of wherever there is pulmonary congestion or wherever there is hemorrhage, you will see heart failure cell. What are heart failure cell? You will see the red blood cells that are engulfed by the macrophages. These will form the heart failure cells. Okay, the options given here, where will you not find pulmonary congestion or your hemorrhage? That would be our option. See, very clearly it is your protein losing enteropathy. यहाँ पे ना pulmonary congestion होगा, ना hemorrhage होगा. Right ventricular failure, pulmonary vein obstruction, volume overload, you can see congestion or hemorrhage also. But protein losing enteropathy, you will not see either congestion or hemorrhage. So this is your correct answer. Alright. Moving on, a patient presents with a mass in the front of the neck along with odenophagia and dyspnea. Histopathology revealed tumor cells positive for TTF, synaptophysin, chromogranin, and there is evidence of amyloid deposition. Do we need to see the options? No. जहाँ पे उन्होंने बोला synaptophysin, chromogranin positive है, amyloid है, so thyroid है, what is the diagnosis? Simple. It is your medullary thyroid carcinoma, right? Very straightforward. You just need to know amyloid deposit है, neuroendocrine tumor markers हैं, so it has to be medullary thyroid carcinoma. Papillary thyroid carcinoma में क्या दिखता है? Probably they are tired of asking that orphan annuli nucleus. ठीक है? Now they've asked about medullary thyroid carcinoma. Follicular thyroid carcinoma, what is the most important thing that you have to see in follicular thyroid carcinoma? Yes, it is your capsular and vascular invasion. Anaplastic thyroid carcinoma, TTF1 positive नहीं होगा and you will see undifferentiated cell. Clear? Very simple question. Moving on. I'm saying very simple question, very simple question. ठीक है, अभी तो I can say, even you will be saying कि very simple question. All of those who have attempted the exam and all of those who have not even attempted the exam, अभी बोलना it's a simple question is very easy. But sitting there in the exam with all the tense environment, I know things do get challenging. वहाँ पे कभी-कभी नहीं भी याद आता. So don't punish yourself for that, right? Moving on to the next question. A 16-year-old boy presents with jaundice, splenomegaly. Father had similar illness in adolescence. MCHC is elevated. What is the most likely diagnosis? If you see my lectures, I've discussed the same MCQ. Right? I've discussed the same MCQ in hereditary spherocytosis. Your MCHC is elevated. Family history bhi hai and there is some kind of hemolytic anemia. So it has to be hereditary spherocytosis. Right? Why is there is no autoimmune hemolytic anemia? Family history hai. Otherwise, spherocytes are more commonly seen in autoimmune hemolytic anemia rather than hereditary spherocyte. But यहाँ पे आपको family history बोली गई है तो it is hereditary spherocytosis only. Thalassemia again MCHC is not elevated, right? Now moving on, we've discussed this n number of times. Whenever you get a picture of spherocytes, right? Whenever you get a picture of spherocytes, your MCHC is elevated, you will not make a diagnosis of hereditary spherocytosis. Please note, you will not make a diagnosis of hereditary spherocytosis. What is the most common cause of spherocytes? We've discussed this n number of times. Most common cause of spherocytes is autoimmune hemolytic anemia, right? Where else do you see spherocytes? Hereditary spherocytosis. Yes, we've studied this. Other causes, G6PD deficiency, then burns, hypersplenism, and ABO, hemolytic disease of the newborn, also in hemolytic transfusion reactions. You will see spherocytes, but the most common cause is autoimmune hemolytic anemia. And how will you differentiate autoimmune hemolytic anemia from hereditary spherocytosis? I've already told you the family history, but if you're not aware of the family history, how will you differentiate? You will do a, yes, direct Coombs test. Direct Coombs test, which will be positive in autoimmune and negative in hereditary spherocytosis. Right, moving on to the next question. A patient with intense itchy vesicular lesion on the extensor surfaces and gluten sensitivity. So, patient had gluten sensitivity, itchy vesicular lesions on the extensor surface, skin biopsy with immunoglobulin A immunofluorescence is given. What is the diagnosis? I'm not sure if the immunofluorescence picture was given or the clinical picture of extensor surface was given. But please note, they have mentioned IgA immunofluorescence and most important, gluten sensitivity. इससे आपका diagnosis बन गया. What is it? It is your dermatitis herpetiformis, right? Very straightforward. Gluten sensitivity दिया है, celiac disease दिया है, so it is dermatitis herpetiformis. And if they've given IgA, so it is a blessing in disguise. The other options are, all the other options are associated with your IgG problem. IgA, that means it is dermatitis herpetiformis, right? Moving on to the next question. Very simple. I'm not sure ये pathology का question है, anatomy, histology का question है, but then you were asked to identify the epithelium. Esophagus? No. Why? Esophagus में you get squamous cells. Urinary bladder? Yes, this is your transitional epithelium. Right? This is your transitional epithelium. Small intestine mein, again you will see villi, ciliated columnar epithelium. Trachea mein you would have noticed cartilage, but here it is urinary bladder with transitional epithelium. Again, a very straightforward question, right? Now, a 68-year-old man presented with bleeding. Peripheral smear is shown below. Which translocation is associated? This is one of the favorite question of the examiner. सिर्फ ट्रांसलोकेशन पूछेंगे, सेल पूछेंगे या उसका एसोसिएटेड फीचर पूछेंगे. राइट नाउ, जस्ट नाउ वी हैव स्टडीड अबाउट इट. व्हाट इज द हॉलमार्क सेल दैट यू सी इन दिस? यस, दैट इज योर फैगट सेल्स. व्हाट इज इट? फैगट सेल्स. फैगट सेल्स में क्या होते हैं? यू गेट मल्टीपल ऑरोड्स. Multiple ORODs, right? So the diagnosis is acute promyelocytic leukemia or AML-M3. Now the translocation is easy. What is it? It is 1517. 1517 translocation is also known as your PML-RARA, right? So anything could have come as an option, either PML-RARA or translocation 1517. You just need to know it is your APML, right? 821 अभी हमने पढ़ा, कहाँ पे था? Your AML-M2. 1418 was follicular lymphoma. 1114 mantle cell lymphoma. Just now we've studied, right? Now again a PYQ, PYT, APML, very frequently asked, right? Moving on to the next question. A patient present with hearing loss, balance problem. Histology shows antennae A and antennae B areas with Verroque bodies. What is the likely diagnosis? कभी कभी लगता है कि इतना simple question भी कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? I mean, you always get confused. Am I missing something? No, they've given Verroque bodies. They've given antennae A, antennae B. So it is your schwannoma. Very simple, right? They've given straightforward the histology. Even if they would have given the image, you could have easily identified your antennae A and antennae B areas, Verroque bodies. Direct schwannoma. Medulloblastoma में क्या दिखता है? You get Homer-Wright rosettes, right? Meningioma में you will get a whorled pattern. And characteristic finding seen in meningioma, your Samoma bodies. Ependymoma में what will you see? You will see perivascular pseudorosettes. All right, again a straightforward question. Antony A, Antony B, Verroque bodies, schwannoma, right? Moving on to the next question. Which of the following type of cell death involves activation of caspase enzymes? This question was also asked in your recent FMG May exam, right? Uske andar they had given some caspase ka number and you were asked to identify the mechanism, right? So, which of the following type of cell death involves activation of caspase enzymes? So, the answer here is your apoptosis and pyroptosis. Apoptosis में which caspase is involved? It is your caspase 1. Pyroptosis में it is your caspase 3, 8, 9. Necroptosis, necrosis are caspase independent, right? So the answer here is apoptosis and pyroptosis. Now coming to the next question. A very tall man presents with visual problem and is found to have ectopia lentis on ophthalmological evaluation. Which gene is most likely defective in this patient? Please note, this question was also there in FMG. Thoda ghuma fira ke tha, but the question was on Marfan syndrome. They had also asked for the gene mutation. Now, tall man, ectopia lentis. We all know it is Marfan syndrome. And Marfan syndrome में कौन सा gene involved होता है? It is your FBN1. ठीक है? Again a straightforward question. You just need to know कि diagnosis क्या है. Diagnosis पता चलेगा तो gene mutation can be easily known. Marfan syndrome, FBN1 gene. Just to add on, COL1A1 कहाँ पे होता है? It's seen in your osteogenesis imperfecta. FGFR3 is seen in achondroplasia. PAX6 is seen in aniridia and some other developmental defects, right? Marfan syndrome, very straightforward, FBN1 gene. Moving on to the next question. A middle-aged woman presents with dry eye, dry mouth. Laboratory tests reveal a positive anti-Rho SSA, anti-LO SSB, AB3. What is the most likely underlying pathological mechanism? So, इसमें भी you have to find out the diagnosis. Dry eye, dry mouth, anti-Rho positive, anti-La positive. क्या होगा? The diagnosis is Sjögren syndrome. Very clear. Sjögren syndrome. And what is the pathology involved in Sjögren syndrome? The pathology or the effect of dry eye or dry mouth is your lymphocytic destruction of salivary and lacrimal gland. Because of the lymphocytic destruction only, you will get dry eye, dry mouth and Sjögren syndrome, right? IgE mediated hypersensitivity you will see in allergic condition, not in Sjögren's. Neutrophilic infiltration again you will see in infection. Amyloid deposit in salivary gland is systemic amyloidosis. Very clear? So, it is the lymphocytic destruction of salivary and lacrimal gland that is the pathology and the cause of clinical features in Sjögren syndrome, right? Now, the next question is a patient with cough, chest pain, dyspnea has histopathological image that is shown. Now, I'm not sure if the histopathology image was given or they had just mentioned it showed granulomas with giant cell and stellate inclusions. What is the most likely diagnosis? Giant cell and stellate inclusion. What are these? These are your asteroid bodies. What else do you get in sarcoidosis? The answer is sarcoidosis, right? What else do you get in sarcoidosis? Your Schaumann bodies, right? The calcified structures. So, it is sarcoidosis, right? Lung cancer nahi ho sakta. Lung cancers mein you will see malignant cells. There are no malignant cells here. You see granulomas with giant cell, right? Lung cancer, you will see malignant cell. Tuberculosis, if tuberculosis was given, what will you see? you will see caseating granulomas. You will see caseating granulomas with epithelioid cells. In tuberculosis. Fungal infection again you can see granulomas, but you will also see fungal hyphae. Okay, so here you are seeing asteroid bodies, that is granulomas with joint cell and stellate inclusion. So it is a clear-cut diagnosis of sarcoidosis, right? Moving on to the next question. Anti-mitochondrial antibody AMA is most commonly seen. Again, a very clear-cut question. So AMA is most commonly seen in primary biliary cholangitis, right? Primary biliary cholangitis is the answer here. Autoimmune hepatitis, what is the most commonly antibody you see? You see anti-smooth muscle antibody. And you will see ANA, right? Primary sclerosing cholangitis, you will see p-ANCA. SLE, you will see again ANA, dsDNA and anti-Smith. So AMA most commonly associated with primary biliary cholangitis, right? Moving on to the next question. Which of the following condition is most likely to follow this pattern of inheritance? They had given you a pedigree chart. How will you interpret this? See, this female is being affected. It's dark, affected female. This female is affecting all her children. Be it male or female, girl child, boy child, all the children are affected. And this again, girl child is affecting all her children. Okay? Affecting all her children, not being affected by the father. Here, this father does not affect any of the child. But so that means the pattern of inheritance is through the mother. Mother ka inheritance is mitochondrial inheritance. Okay, mother ka inheritance, we all know mitochondrial inheritance, right? So, coming to the options, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, ये कौन सा होता है? We've all studied. It is X-linked recessive. Prader-Willi syndrome, it is paternal inheritance. Paternal inheritance deletion on 15q, right? Marfan syndrome, we've just now studied, it is FBN1 and it is autosomal dominant. So, mother ka inheritance, mitochondrial ka inheritance, it's your Kearns-Sayre syndrome, right? Any confusing or any complicated name is always mother inheritance, right? Rest ka you must have studied somewhere or the other. But agar kuch confusing hai, complicated hai, so it is mitochondrial. You just need to know how to interpret the pedigree chart. This female is also affected. Again, she is affecting all her children. Here, this father, the children are not affected. So it is mitochondrial or maternal inheritance, right? Moving on to the next question. A patient presents with chronic swelling of the lower extremity. Tissue biopsy performed and the microscopic examination shows the finding depicted in the image. What is the most likely underlying pathologic process? Okay, they've asked about the pathologic process, so they've put this question in pathology. But here microbiology may be question repeat hoga. What stain do you see here? First, let me talk about the pathology. What stain do you see here? It's your neutrophilic alkaline phosphatase or your leukocyte alkaline phosphatase stain, right? And what are these? These are your lap-stained neutrophils. Or, सबसे important, what do you see? What do you see this thread-like structure? What is it? It's your microfilaria of Vaucheria bancrofti. ठीक है? Vaucheria bancrofti microfilaria. To answer, it is your lymphatic duct obstruction. I'm not sure pathology का question है, micro का question है, but please note ये lap staining है, neutrophils हैं, and this is your microfilaria. So it has to be lymphatic duct obstruction, right? Next question. A patient presents with an ovarian mass that is multiloculated, serum CA125 level more than 1000 unit per ml. What is the most likely diagnosis, right? Now, Just highlight the important words. Ovarian mass, multiloculated. Important thing, your CA 125 is raised, right? Highly raised. What is the most likely diagnosis? Cystadenoma? No. Cystadenoma mein you can get multiloculated mass, but your CA 125 will not be elevated, right? Mature teratoma? Again, mature teratoma ka picture nahi hai. You will see either a teeth, cartilage, some hair. Then only you can make a diagnosis of teratoma. Granulosa cell tumor? No. Granulosa cell tumor में inhibin आएगा, CA 125 नहीं आएगा, right? So the diagnosis is serous cyst adenocarcinoma because this is the most common epithelial malignant tumor. Moreover, it is multiloculated and CA 125 is also elevated. So all the parameters fit into serous cyst adenocarcinoma, right? So these were all the pathology questions that were asked in your NEET 2025. So with this, we come to the end of this session. I have always highlighted MCQ solving is an art. You have to identify the key words, the buzzwords in your question that can help you in brainstorming, help you in reviewing the options. I'm sure you'll target the solution, right? So, happy studying. All the best. Thank you.